Hi, it's Steve here, and today we are going to talk about the role of Scrum Master versus the role of Project Manager, because the two kind of get mixed up quite a bit, and people start to think, yeah, well, do we need a Scrum Master when we've got a Project Manager? Um, why do we need the two? And in this video, we're just going to kind of go into a bit of detail as to how we differentiate between the two, but also how the two can be intertwined and and make sure that if you are a budget holder or if you're a Scrum Master coming into the role, you're trying to sort of figure out whether the route of project management or the route of Scrum Master is for you, then we'll try and cover that off over the next 10 minutes or so. Um, so let's just start by just giving a bit of an overview of my background. Really, I came into Scrum Mastery as a project manager. I started as a project manager. I was a PM for a good few years before then. Not in software, not nothing to do with IT. I literally landed into the role. I took on I became a Scrum Master. I did the CSM course, and I wanted to get into the world of tech because it was quite cool. And I was like thinking, well, actually, I'd like to be a part of that. But I was a PM. That was my role. I loved organizing and planning and being involved in the kind of, getting spreadsheets out and all that kind of stuff. Project plans. I was engrossed in that kind of stuff. So when I became a Scrum Master, my job title was project manager, right? And the fundamentals of Scrum Mastery were inside that, embedded into it. The reason I was a project manager, or that I had the job title of a project manager, was a political one. We were building software for the Ministry of Defence, and it needed to having the role of project manager rather than Scrum Master, just for sheer communication and understanding purposes. That's how it was. But also, I was taking on the responsibility of project management as well as doing the Scrum Mastery work as well. So it's a bit confusing, and it took me a while to kind of get my head around it and wear two hats, as it were. I had to basically look after or take on the responsibilities of both, whilst trying to fulfill, a fairly highly complex position. And not necessarily, I didn't have a huge amount of authority or hierarchy, but I was certainly, there was a lot of eyes on the success of the teams and the products that we were building at the time. So there's quite a lot of responsibility, but it came with a lot of pressure as well. Um, so there are three distinct differences between project management and Scrum Master, and it took me a while to sort of figure these out and try and work out how you know I sort of lent more towards Scrum Mastery in the end because it really just filled all of the kind of voids in my in my career as to what I really wanted to do, and I just felt really comfortable in that role. Um, and funny enough, even though I had this great passion about project management, um, that soon waned. Once I got into Agile and Scrum Mastery, I was like, actually, this is much more fun. And I found project management so much more rigid, and so that's why I sort of moved over to the good side, not the dark side, the light side, as it were. So, as I said, there are three distinct differences. So first of all, it's where the focus is. There's a focus of the role. So project managers are more focused on delivery, and they will be very much looking at the making sure that the project is being delivered on time and on budget, essentially. And so that's where the focus is on. So it's all about delivery, really. It's looking at how far away we are from delivery, making sure that our project plans are on track, and reporting that upwards, and making sure that things are moving along smoothly, and that if things are going off track, it's using their influence and authority to try and bring it back on track and that's essentially what the role of project manager. And if things are moving to the right, as it were, they will um, they'll be adjusting plans and communicating those accordingly. So that's where the project manager is. For the Scrum Master, is very much focused in on the team and team performance. There is an element of delivery, of course. The idea is that the principle of agile, of be delivering value at interim periods, that's still prevalent. So they will very much be looking at making sure that the team are delivering value. It's actually worth of, and that feedback is being given to products that are being built so that the team are actually delivering value and continuing to deliver value. But the focus is very much on team. And if you watch my video before about how the role that the Scrum Master plays in an agile team is focusing in on that team and helping them to become high performing, and then delivery is really part of that. Um, it's very much focused in on that. It's coaching the team. It's really looking and helping them move towards a place of high performance. So project manager is delivery, is making sure that the scope and the time and the budget is all on track, and Scrum Master is very much focused on team and ensuring that the team have everything they need to to thrive. Um, the second differentiator is relationship to the team. So a project manager plays a more of a distant role. Would more likely be outside of the team, maybe at a sort of in more of a support layer, and working alongside perhaps multiple teams, looking at and plays more of a stakeholder role. So that the team would be reporting to the project manager in terms of how they're progressing, how they're getting on, and then the project manager would take that information and then disseminate it across the various different sort of wider stakeholder groups that need to understand information. So the project manager is sort of very much on the outside, looking in, and wouldn't be getting involved in the day-to-day activity of the team. Wouldn't probably It's more unlikely that they'll be involved in the stand-ups. Maybe they'll go to the odd one or two here and there, but sprint planning um, and just general kind of retrospective, those kind of things, the project manager wouldn't be involved in, but certainly would be involved in kind of project update meetings and raid log calls and all of the sort of more traditional type project-y type delivery calls, stakeholder meetings, all that sort of stuff. Whereas the Scrum Master is very much embedded inside the team and literally sort of driving the team forward from the inside. So it's very much involved in the daily stand-ups, all of the ceremonies, and will facilitate those and make sure that they're happening and they're effective, and just that that takes on that coach role. But we'll actually be working with project manager on more likely on a weekly basis, making sure that the project manager has all that they need in order to be able to communicate and that kind of thing. I may attend some of the project calls as well, as that kind of voice of the team, as it were, coming into the project or the program management team. And then the third differentiator is the measure of success. So the project manager's measure of success is delivery, is the making sure that the project is delivered on time and on budget. That's a success measure in terms of saving the company money, or not costing the company any money, any additional extra money that is necessary by making sure the project is delivered. And that's the measure, that's the key measure, that's the only real measure of success for a project manager. Whereas the Scrum Master's measure of success is team performance. It's all about being able to deliver value, getting value, enhancing, focusing on things like OKRs, where the onus is on solving problems for the customer, and then ensuring that the team are performing and that performance is consistent, and it is it is clear for everyone to see. And that's essentially the measure of success of the Scrum Master, is the team rather than the project manager's measure of success is the project. So that's the two sort of differences in that regard. So three very distinct differentiators between project manager and Scrum Master. Um, and they can overlap. There are, as I say, I used to be a project manager inside an agile team as a Scrum Master. That was my role. It does happen. The role of project manager, it hasn't really ever gone away. People were saying for quite a while that project manager is dead. Nowadays they're saying Scrum Master is dead. The role of Scrum Master is dead. These things are still important because traditional ways of working will still carry on in much as we would like to have a fully optimized agile organization. We still have these roles. They're still prevalent today. They're still are necessary today because of layers of management that require information and require a good focus on having the Scrum Master focused in on team, project manager focused in on delivery. Those things still exist, especially in government departments and that kind of thing. They still are prevalent, but there are some overlap, and it might be that if you are considering going down the path that the role of Scrum Master, as I say, that there is absolute need for both. So it doesn't mean to say that if you took one path that it shut off for you on the other path. That's still not the case. I think the role of project manager will evolve, as will the role of Scrum Master, and I'll be doing a video on that at a later date on where these roles will evolve and what we need to be mindful of and adapt. But one thing to say is that, and this is something that doesn't generally get commentated on in various communities and things, is that a funny enough, what they say is Scrum Master makes a good project manager. I'm living proof of that. But actually, that isn't always the case. The Scrum Master um, will make, or a good data analyst makes a good Scrum Master. Um, but a product, somebody who's involved in products or will make a good project manager, and vice versa. What I've seen is that there's a much more of a commercial mindset with product management and with project management, whereas with Scrum Master it's all about analytical sense. So you find that business analysts or data analysts will make really good Scrum Masters, funnily enough, because that's part of the role, is to sort of stand back and analyze what's going on. So it's quite an interesting little extra there for you. That's the end of the video, and hope you enjoyed it. As always, please subscribe and leave a comment if you are a project manager considering going into Scrum Mastery, or if you're getting confused between the two roles and trying to work out what to do. Leave a comment, ask a question, and I'll be sure to respond to them. And there's some links in the show notes as well about ways that you can get involved. Take the Agile Impact Scorecard if you are a Scrum Master and want to just figure out your level of authority, influence, and impact in the team, and also come and join the High Performing Team Challenge, which is 5 days working with me and lots of training on how to build a high performing team. That's it. Thank you very much. See you again for the next one. Bye bye.